So next we're going to do a really delicious cinnamon peach baked oatmeal. And this again would be excellent for breakfast. Erin's husband, she bakes a pan of it, then lets it cool thoroughly, cuts it up, sends it with him for his breakfast to eat on his way to work. So it's good and solid. It also would make an excellent afternoon snack for when you get home from class or your kids get home from school, or even a really good dessert. So this is a really versatile one, and again, so far we've only made it with peaches the several times we've made it, but I think you could again mix and match other types of fruits that your family would like and still have the baked oatmeal and nutritious and delicious food to eat any time of the day. So we're going to start out. I've turned the oven on before we started this morning to 350, and so it'll be ready to put in when we're done. Our next step is we are going to spray this 9 by 9 inch baking dish with cooking spray, because this will be kind of sticky. So get it sprayed good and well, and then put it off to the side. So in our large bowl, we're going to stir together 2 cups of our our old-fashioned rolled oats. So we want 2 cups of those. And again, as we talked earlier, you could, if you just had quick cook oats, you could use those in place of the old-fashioned, or if you had steel cut oats. But again, the texture and firmness of the product will be altered by changing what kind of oatmeal you do use. Okay, next we are going to add our cinnamon, which is 1.5 teaspoons of ground cinnamon. And cinnamon is often a spice we associate with oatmeal. We're going to put in a teaspoon of baking powder, and this is what will make the oatmeal bake kind of rise and have some volume to it. We're going to put in 1/2 teaspoon of, you can either use kosher salt, which is a little coarser, or I'm just going to use regular salt. And 1 3/4 cup of milk. And again, today we're going to go ahead and use the 1% milk. That's what we use at our house. And again, it's lower in calories. Again, get down level and make sure you have the appropriate amount. So this goes in our second bowl. First bowl is the oatmeal, the cinnamon, the salt, and the baking powder. So we'll set that aside a minute. So our second bowl is we're going to put in our milk.
2 cups of milk.
1 3/4 cups. Okay. 5 tablespoons of either maple syrup or honey. Today we're just going to use maple syrup. And this is just imitation maple syrup, which will work just fine. Or if you like the real deal, It's a lot more costly. It does have a little better flavor, but most of us don't keep real maple syrup on hand. Our hunters come from Wisconsin, and so they bring us real maple syrup, and it is amazing the wonderful flavor that has. But I like to eat it just on pancakes and waffles, and where you really get the really good mapley flavor. There's 3, 4. You can also use honey if you don't have maple syrup. Either thing will work. And we're going to add an egg. One egg. And 1 teaspoon of vanilla. Today in our baked peach oatmeal, we're using canned peaches, which we drained thoroughly before we started. And because you want to get all that extra juice, we use peaches in just water, not in heavy syrup. So again, that cuts down the calories. Or if you have frozen peaches, you can use those as well. Okay, so we have our wet ingredients and our dry ingredients. Now we're going to combine these together. And this recipe calls for 1 cup of diced peaches that have been drained. So we've diced them up, and they go into our oatmeal mixture. And now we're ready to put our oatmeal mixture into our prepared baking dish. And it looks pretty runny when you put it all together, but our oats will absorb all this liquid and become nice and plump. And then we do have a few whole peach slices that we will go ahead and put on the top of our baking dish. And you can be kind of artistic. That kind of lets me out, but
This is a great way to get a serving of fruit and that really good healthy oatmeal, stay full in for breakfast.
And like For dessert, if you're going to serve this as a dessert, you could get some little dab of Cool Whip on the top. Again, kind of like peach pie, but a much healthier version than peaches in a pie crust. Okay, that's about all the peaches we can fit on. And again, like if you like other fruits, apricots would probably work well. Frozen berries would probably work well.
And we've actually done this with peaches and raspberries together because I had a little bit of peaches left over and a little bit of raspberries. And that was a huge hit.
So there's our finished dish. It will now need to bake 35 to 45 minutes at 350 degrees. When you serve it, if you want to, like we said, put a little Cool Whip on it for dessert, or if it's a breakfast food, maybe another little dab of maple syrup and a extra sprinkle of cinnamon. And you have a great breakfast or snack or dessert.